There we go.
I was just all right. I hijacked the group.
But for a worthy cause.
Yeah, sorry. You were gonna say, who wants to recap?
Yes.
Sorry.
Well, we were going to find Mordain. I think maybe Petrie still is. I don't know what Petrie's doing, but we were going to go find Mordain, and Elmorn decided he would rather go find his daughter, and so we changed our plans and decided we were going to go to the Mournlands, except for Petrie. I don't remember Petrie ever coming around on that point. So
I think he reluctantly agreed, but I'm not 100% sure either.
Reluctantly.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember I suggested that there might be lichens.
Yeah, that's sort of perked his ears. So.
And that we might die unless he comes to defend us from the lichens. We decided we were going to take the lightning rail for part of the way and get around to, I forget the name of the city, but it's like on the far side of the Mournlands because it's closer to where we're going. Ivar is not so sure where we're going in the Mournlands. It may be just more random wandering. It's the new Mordain is why are we here and what are we doing?
All right. So who would like to remind everybody of what it is specifically?
So just for the record, Marthal is not keen on going to the Mournlands, but he's going anyway. He just knows it's a place. He just knows that it's a place of let's see, death and destruction.
The Mournlands formerly were Sire, but they were destroyed in the last war in some sort of cataclysm. So now it's hostile to all living things, and only idiots go in there. Ivar said he was going because like he's just an employee here. So the bosses say where we're going. The bosses decided we're going to the Mournlands. So we're going to the Mournlands.
Yeah, Petrie was just very hesitant, and he still is, but he's become a lot more quiet, I guess, in his travel now. He's come back to his like core, and he's like praying, and he's making prophecies, and he's just a little bit crazy, and he keeps on wanting to go back, but he knows that this is the right way to go. So he's worried as well, I guess.
Power helping Petrie make this decision a bit easier.
Yeah, I guess so.
As a reminder, the town is Vatharond.
In the Mournlands?
At the very edge of the Mournland is where you guys are headed.
Okay. So the one thing is Marthal, in case you guys didn't read the email, he has sent out. I was just about to go there. He has sent out his correspondence with House O'Brien to the different caravans just to try to get like a lay of the land and see if there's any activity going on. So he found out that to Ivar's point, only idiots go. There's very high rewards, and most people go and die in the process of trying to get it. Metrol is the most popular destination since it was the capital of Sire. And that's where it's rumored that the largest concentration of wealth is. But the House Cannith complex is also located there, which may be more the most interesting.
I seem to recall we were going somewhere between Metrol and Vatharond. Am I just making that up, or was that a thing?
Well, like, Metrol is solidly inside the Mournland.
Right. But we have some sense of where the daughter was last seen, right?
So that's why you're going to Vatharond, because the stories that, well, Elmore, you are the one that got this information. Do you want to reshare with the party what it was that you learned?
Yes, I got this information. And I would love for you to reshare what it was.
It's a conspiracy to get us into the Mournlands and fuck our days. Like,
I've been dreaming of this day, honestly. I didn't think this was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, boom, opportunity.
I feel like
This is
somebody
my absolute favorite place in all of Eberron.
There was like a sketch, right? That I saw, and it was unmistakably my daughter.
Yep.
yeah, some sort of angel-faced creature again. Isn't she wasn't she guiding people out of the Mournlands or something?
That was the rumors. I guess it was during some of our downtime. I did research.
Yep. Because you were, when you guys had returned to the Handsome Mansion after having faced off against Fenris and being inside of his guts and, you know, escaping all of that. So what happened was Zorchillik had given you guys an opportunity to transport. He basically teleported you guys to just outside of Mordain the Flesh Weaver's estate. And it was a very, you know, it's in the middle of the desert, but all of a sudden there's this strange jungle. And then
Elmore
after
built
Elmore,
the best shelter ever.
the best shelter ever. Like, probably House Galanda would be like, damn, that's a fine-ass place.
And then we all gave some polite golf claps and said, let's leave.
Yeah, because I forgot how you guys got it, but you have something synchronized to the Handsome Mansion that allows you to go there and then return to wherever it is that you popped out from. I want to say Martha had it.
Yeah. I don't remember what it is, but I have it. I'm just getting back into Martha.
Isn't it some sort of like sending stone or something like that? Wasn't it something like that?
It's a Hearthstone.
Oh, there you go.
And then Elmorn, didn't you work with Tacitus to help you guys out? Finding your daughter?
I worked with Tacitus to what?
To figure out some way of finding your daughter?
Oh, the last I remember, I was just going to go to the edge of the Mournlands and shout, Grace!
Yeah, that's what you were going to do. And Tess is like, nah, bro, there's better ways.
I don't remember.
He basically asked for Grace's doll.
That's right. And then it's like some creepy ass head now.
Oh yeah, doesn't it point in the direction or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, so you guys have like a magical compass guiding you in the general direction of where you need to go. I have my story dice ready. And I got paid today, so I'm buying more story dice.
Woo!
All right. So yeah, you guys have been traveling for a little bit more than a month on your way to Vatheron, jumping from lightning rail to short stints of walking, and then Martha using his connections to secure passage through House Orion caravans. And And along the way, you each have an opportunity to kind of tell a brief story of something that took place either just before going or along the way. So if anybody wants to describe something that they were doing or attempting, this is your final chance if you haven't already.
Well, I apologize for the smell in the Handsome Mansion. I'm sure Charles would have it all cleaned up by the time we get back, or in a year, somewhere between when we get back in a year. But I did manage to capture an air elemental, so you wind up seeing me spend a lot of time trying to get it to do what I want it to do, because it's going to have to be trained a little bit because it's in this giant jar I brought with me.
Can we see anything in the jar?
It's a pressure vessel, so no, it's a big metal bell.
And Martha takes a look at it and is like, I don't see anything. How did you capture it?
Remember the thunderstorm? Well, I used some magic and some technology to attract an air elemental to an electrified rod, and then used a pump to pump the thing into this bell. And the valves will let me release air, fresh air, when we need it.
Interesting. So, do you know what it can do?
I do. Ivar will work it out by the time we get to the Mournlands. But basically, it can provide fresh air for one person indefinitely. It can create a bubble of air. It's got 2 charges. For a charge, it can create a 10-foot bubble of air around it, so more people can breathe. And for both of its charges, I can use the Gust of Wind spell. Once a day, basically.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
You also notice that the undead bullet is like a husk. The bottom of the undead bullet has somehow been blown out, so it no longer has an underbelly.
I'm surprised that didn't kill it. That those undead things are pretty fragile. They basically have like 1 hit point.
Yeah.
Not this
McCormick's
one.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, not the bullet. And besides, this is all like organs that don't function and it didn't need.
True.
Yeah,
I mean-
so Colmar started out with the 1 hit point creations, but with the bullet, he was able to actually make that one supercharged. Tony!
Hello.
We should start the recap over because Tony's here now.
Yeah. We should.
All right, briefly, Tony. Or Kurt, if you want to take it from here, go for it, man.
How much of it am I aware of?
Well, it just took us a while to get through the recap because we could all barely remember all of the 1,000 details of what was going on.
Yeah. By the way, Tony, with your thing, you've come out of it. You're fine. You don't remember too much of it. For now, we're gonna say that you get the thing that you requested.
Okay.
I'm gonna front it to you until we resolve it, and then we'll figure out what shit goes down.
I mean, I'm cool to resolve it right now. One fate of the die roll. I don't know.
We could. It's not gonna be one. It's not gonna be one die roll.
Sure.
It'll be several.
Well, let's get through the recap then.
All right. All right. So what we talked about so far. Last time you guys had just finished facing Fenris. Zorchilik had teleported you guys to just beyond Mordaine's realm, out in the desert, in Drome, where all of a sudden there's this like lush jungle that's sprung up out in the middle of this desert. So it's very oddly placed. You were just outside of it, and Elmorn made this fancy ass tent. And you guys are like, oh, wait a minute. We could just head back to the Hanson Mansion I think that'd be better. You guys all want to do that? And Elmore's like, yes. So you guys took some time to rest and recuperate there while you guys were kind of figuring out what your next steps were regarding this Mordain character, who, just to remind you, you guys were seeking specifically because he has some connection to this Delkir / angel face creature that the group had faced. That is not Elmorn, Tacitus, or Ivar. Petrie and Martha are the only ones that have really faced this thing.
It's Mordain the misunderstood as well. Like, Petrie thinks he's a good guy.
Okay. So you guys were doing that, getting ready for seeking out Mordain, and then all of a sudden Elmorn came into information of some guardian angel guiding people out of the Mournland, he found an artist depiction, and it looked very much like his daughter. And so Elmorn was very much, we need to go and find my daughter. That's what I'm doing. You guys are welcome to join me. And everybody's like, we're not splitting the party. So then Tacitus made that magical creation using the doll of Grace, Elmorn's daughter, to create a kind of compass, generally facing the direction of whatever energy is synced up to that was within the doll, based on the memories and the context and the emotions that were kind of imbued into the item. So you guys have been traveling for about a month to a month and a half to the city of Vatharond, which is the one that is closest to where the last sightings of Grace supposedly came from, and the people that are most likely to have actually had contact with her.
For Elmorn's sake, I will have reminded him with great detail, because of my great mind, of the fantastic tent setup that he did back in the desert. It was impeccable. Good job, man.
Thanks, dude.
So what we were saying now along the way, this is like your guys' last chance to describe some kind of situation, some kind of event, something that you were trying to accomplish, or something that might have happened involving your character along the way. And so Kurt was regaling us with something that Ivor had achieved. Now I'll let Kurt kind of recap that.
You would have heard a lot of commotion during a thunderstorm at one point, and Ivar and Charles were on the roof. He managed to, using an electrified rod and some magic, attract an air elemental, and then used a mechanical pump to seal it in a pressure vessel with some valves, so that now he can release clean air for one person indefinitely, but for the group in a 10-foot bubble, like twice a day. So if we get to a point where we can't breathe in the Mournlands, at least we'll have this trapped air elemental. At the beginning of the journey, the air elemental and I have not yet come to an understanding. So there was a lot of me getting blasted in the face with air when I try to release a little bit. But slowly I am teaching the air elemental to behave. One last recap point. I don't remember if this was in like somebody's vision or where I heard it, but there was something about the angel-faced creature merging with other creatures, like a dragon or something. It was all sort of, a lot of it was before my time. So that might explain why Elmorn's daughter was seen in what appeared to be an angel-faced creature.
Yeah, something like that did occur. I won't say more than that.
Thank you.
Something like, but not necessarily.
And then Martha was able to get some information from his contacts in House Orion. So Martha, can you just review that real quick again?
Sure. Hold on. Pull it up. Mostly idiots or very greedy people still go into the Mournlands at this point, because most people die, but there's a high a lot of money being offered to people who make it, who can pull things out. The most popular destination is Metrol, which was the capital of Sire. It's also the location of the House Cannith complex. So during prior to the day of mourning, that's where the House Cannith headquarters was located, and it had, arguably like the center of that had the talent pool. It was the Silicon Valley of tech talent, so to speak.
It's not too far off. Very well put.
The survivors, Mournland, indicate that healing magic fails, wounds fester. Some people are more affected by the Mournland than others. The bodies deteriorate, the minds can become addled. There are battlefields where there's soldiers always fighting, including living spells. And anything that basically sounds like comfort doesn't exist, or if it did exist and you bring it in, it will soon no longer become comfort. The only thing that seems to resist the effects of the Mournland are good berries and good berry wine. So as we've journeyed closer, Martha has taken up his new bardic lifestyle, and he hums pretty often. And he's become erratic with his mood swings. He's showing signs of having manic and depressive episodes. And he thinks he's totally fine and normal. At night, you can hear him humming still, but it sounds more like a dirge than it does like comforting or joyous like his daytime humming. And he's been jerking about quite a bit more, like as in his sleep.
Oh, that's what you said. That's what you mean. Got it.
Yeah. I mean,
you mean jerking more than normal then?
Yeah. It's something about the Mournlands.
He heard that all things that are good are no longer good there, so he's got to get all the enjoyment he can.
You gotta get it while it's hot. So yeah, that's what Martha has been up to.
All right. Anybody else like to describe something that their character has been through, or something that they experienced while on this journey?
Well, in light of that, we should stop every time the train stops and buy good berry wine. They might not have like a huge supply of it, or it might cost a lot of money if we try to buy it right at the entryway to the Mournlands.
Indeed.
Now, presumably we've been traveling for a while, and we would have, we've been caravanning for a bit, and we may or may not have known this information for some time. So would it make sense that we would have run into a place or places where we could have picked some up, or that may have had it? Or is it is this stuff fairly rare?
It's not necessarily rare. However, it's primarily a specialty that is imported directly from the Eldine Reaches. Because the Eldine Reaches is basically the druid center of Corvair. That's where most of them actually use their magic to harvest good berries and create some kind of economy around it, because they do require some trade with the outside world, although a lot of the druidic sects try to remain isolated to some extent. They don't want to be involved in civilization so much, some more so than others. It's also the Eldine Reaches is acts as the headquarters of House Vidalis. So House Vidalis also has a lot of influence in terms of the imports of Goodberry wine. So along the route that you guys are taking, it's especially rare in Karnath, especially because the weather in Karnath does not really work in terms of keeping Goodberry wine fresh. It kind of needs to be kept at a slightly warmer temperature, which is a bit unusual for a wine or any kind of perishable, but good berries seem to last a little bit better in those conditions. So certainly as you are passing through Korth, you'd be able to find some. As you're going through Thrain, you might find a bit of it, although Thrain is largely a sober country with very strict liquor laws, being so religious with its theocracy and everything.
Fucking dry countries.
Yeah, I'd understand.
So along the way, you would probably have a couple of opportunities to grab some. I'm going to roll randomly to see how much you can get. So your first stop is going to be based off of a D8. Your second stop is going to be a D4. And your third stop will be a D6. So on your first stop, and Goodberry wine is somewhat expensive compared to other wines, since it's only capable of being made through magical means. So where most wines are only like, anywhere from a couple of copper pieces to a silver piece, most Goodberry wines run anywhere from 1 to 10 gold pieces per bottle.
And there is that sickness going through the Eldine Reaches that Ivar knows about. So there might not be trade, might be limited.
Oh yes, I have almost forgot about that. Thank you, Ivar. So first stop, boom. You're able to get 6 bottles. That'll cost you 100 gold pieces.
Martha will gladly pay that 100 gold pieces.
Second stop, boom. 1 bottle. So that'll be 5 gold pieces. That one's a little bit lower quality, middling quality. Final stop.
It's the $2 chuck of gold of Goodberry wine.
And this final stop is kind of like a mom and pop place run out of Thrain, illegally, kind of like moonshiners.
I like it.
Oh, bounced out. Damn it. All right, just got to use a different dice.
Yeah, use a D20.
I'm going to use my heavy metal dice that's not going to bounce out. Bounced out.
Yeah, quit throwing it, man.
I'm excited. 5. You guys can find 5 more bottles.
And they're totally free.
No, these will run you.
I tried.
For these 5 bottles, it'd be 50 gold pieces.
50 gold pieces.
I like that we have the one bottle of Pabst Goodberry wine.
It won the blue-green ribbon back in Aldi.
All right, so you guys stop for some provisions that include good berry wine. Is there anything else that you guys are looking to acquire on your trip?
Full plate armor.
I'm wearing something.
You got 1,000 gold pieces in 20 days to fit it to you?
Definitely not. Maybe he could ask some paladins. Maybe they got some cool shit for him back in Thrain.
No.
You're not very popular.
Yeah, you're right.
Flamekeeper Stenson, he has a bit more reach than you would have thought.
Damn.
At some point, I'm going to change out, and the rations I've had in my bag have been there a while, but I'm going to make sure I have at least 10 days worth of rations, dry rations.
Okay.
Yeah, I better check my.
Yeah, I guess I'll do the same as well.
And actually, I guess I should buy like a couple of water skins because we're not going to find good water in there.
Indeed.
Who needs water when you have wine?
So, yeah, between the lot of you, the Mornland normal consumption, probably 2 bottles of good berry wine could get you guys through a day. Because you figure a glass of good berry wine would provide all the nutrients you need for an entire day. You figure between 5 people, probably going to get only, you're probably going to need 2 bottles for 5 glasses.
I hope somebody can purify food and water.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Ivar used to have a rule against drinking at all, but since he's mostly on drugs now.
Oh yes, the Catterlick.
Is that the gateway to drinking? Or?
It's just once you start doing hard drugs, fuck it when it comes to alcohol.
What's it really gonna do?
So many cats at the Handsome Mansion. So many cats.
And fucking cats running behind the damn train.
I can only imagine. I got 2 of them. I'd hate to have a ton of them.
All right, so you guys have restocked some rations. You guys have purchased some bottles of good berry wine.
Yeah, I guess in Petrie's travels, he's considered running away a lot of times, and he keeps on holding himself back. And he like sees that someone's watching him. He's like, "Oh no, I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry." And then he goes back to meditating and praying. But you've noticed that he's been practicing his swordsmanship, and he's been mimicking Elmorn's voice. He's been going, "You die," and like just trying to copy him. And then
again.
It's recorded. It'll be there. It's on the internet forever. And then one night, Elmorn like sort of hears him yelling or trying to copy him, and then he sees like this like huge divine smite, and Petrie like just looks at you weirdly and says, "That was nothing. Don't worry." And then he just runs away and scampers into like a cabin.
Have any of you played God of War yet?
Yeah, I have.
Not the new one, no.
Okay, but have you seen like the memes or like have you heard how Kratos just calls his son boy?
Boy. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Elmorn turns to you. Boy, what are you doing? Boy.
I'm just learning things, you know.
Enough with the tomfoolery, boy.
Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now.
You do that, boy. Get a good night's sleep, boy.
Alright, thank you.
God damn it. Okay. Can I finally talk now?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Boy.
Mine's not that exciting though. So Elmorn, mine's more cheesy and I guess Elmorn lore-ish. Elmorn prepares by so for those of you who don't know, before Elmorn's daughter died, he was a caravan guard. And while he was away guarding one of his caravans, that's when the event happened that caused the Mornlands to be, killing his daughter. And what he would do every time he'd go away for a trip was prepare a new song because he plays the lute. So he just prepared a new song to play for Grace when he came back. And then he came back to the devastation. So Elmorn's very anxious to see his daughter, and he thinks that maybe if he can play his new song for her, she might come. So he's been practicing that last song, and Egg has been kind of like bobbing along with the song. And then in between practicing, Elmorn is also like studying the doll head thing to see if he can maybe glean anything from it or figure out how to use it to the best of its abilities. So that is what Elmorn would be doing on the journey.
So you'd be working directly with Tacitus because it's Tacitus's spell work that is causing it to manifest in the way that it is.
Fair enough.
So it's usually close to him.
I'm cool with that. Whenever I'm not challenging people to dragon chess.
By the way, Martha, did you get that strange message from Tacitus?
I did. I was waiting until we have finished this.
You would look over after receiving that message and just see me probably just staring blankly.
After receiving the message and I see that, I walk up to you and I say, be strong. And I like put my hand on your chest and I cast heroism.
Okay. I'm not 100% certain what that does.
It makes it so you get you're imbued with bravery. And until the spell ends, you're immune to being frightened and gain 9 temporary hit points.
Okay. Should be interesting.
That'll help. So when you cast that upon him, Tacitus looks at you and says, "Thank you. What was that for?"
Tacitus says that to me?
Yes.
You don't look like Tacitus.
I'm wearing his skin.
Tacitus says that?
My body does, at least.
What the fuck?
Ivar adds, all that jerking is ruining your eyesight.
Nonsense. It only enhances. You know exactly what that was for, Tacitus.
Oh, okay.
Are you feeling okay?
Oh, I'm fine. Things are just great.
You don't look fine.
Yeah, maybe coming down with something. I don't know if we ate some bad meat back in the last place or what it was, but it's not quite settling well.
Let's see. Do I notice something off about him?
You can give me an insight check.
And that is what I will be doing.
Don't
shit. Oh wait, no. I get that. I don't get advantage on it. 17.
There's something off about Tacitus. You're not exactly sure what it is. It may be that he is just not feeling well, but there's something about his mannerisms that it's close to Tacitus, but it's off just enough that you're noticing that it's kind of like, it's almost like when you're watching like one of those old movies with the real films and you see those spots that kind of appear every once in a while. It's kind of like that. It's like this jerky, sudden dispositions that aren't quite 100% right and don't quite match up with the sound.
It's like a weird uncanny valley sort of thing, or
yeah, almost
a desyncing of voice to lips.
Yeah, it's very close, but it's off just enough to almost be imperceptible. But when you notice it, it is incredibly unsettling.
Kind of like the video, those Poppy videos. Have you seen any of those?
Poppy.
Yeah, you need to look that up because that's exactly what you're describing.
All right. I don't know what Poppy is, but for some reason, what popped in my head was salad fingers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, about the same, I guess.
Would let's see. And I say to Tacitus, you're doing a poor job at disguising yourself. So a chicklet, you should be more careful. And I'm gonna try to see if I could. I really don't have any like dispelling word. Actually, Petrie, do you have anything that could expel demons? Or unwanted presences.
Magic circle.
And I'm saying that out loud, so I'm imagining that Tacitus might start to get a little unsettled. So I kind of try to like motion to Elmorn that he should like come closer.
He's not unsettled so much as he's just kind of like, dude, what are you talking about? Are you sure you're okay, Marthal?
I say that all the time.
Yeah, are you sure you're okay, Marthal?
I am 100% into my proper state of mind right now. Trust me, I've already jerked it. I'm clear.
Oh my god, has anybody seen Cabin Boy?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, never mind then.
So,
he may be able, if Tacitus is some sort of extraplanar beast, you could banish him, and then if he comes back, he's Tacitus. If he doesn't come back, then he was some sort of disguised creature.
Yes, very much like the witch trials. Do that.
Does it float?
Don't worry, Tacitus. We'll save you. We'll save all of us.
Okay, sure. I mean, we're gonna need all the help we can get. We're going to Mornland.
So Petrie, do you have anything that could help out?
I've only got divine sense. I wouldn't be able to expel it. I just know it's there. But I guess, yeah, just the precaution. He probably would. He would cast it to see what's going on.
Divine sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see anything from your divine sense.
Oh well, then I just call Marthal crazy and have faith in the flame, and you'll never have to jerk it again.
That's what they were saying when we were going through 3.
Yeah. You didn't do that.
It's a nightly sort of bedtime ritual for all Thranians. It's all their children.
So, why am I blanking right now? Elmorn.
Yes.
Do you have anything that could help us out here?
No.
I thought you were a paladin.
I am the damaging kind.
We have 2 paladins, and none can expel demons.
I kill demons. I don't expel them. Boy.
So then I'll cast Healing Word on Tacitus, and I'm gonna bolster it with an action point.
Oof.
To try to heal his state of mind, or what I perceive to be his incorrect state of mind.
All right, let me make a note of this. So you casted Heroism and an action point upped Healing Word.
Yeah. And I'm gonna use a bardic inspiration on Tacitus as well.
Oh man.
All right. So, how are you going to inspire Tacitus?
And not this puppet in my body. Puppet master.
You're just inspiring the devil at this point.
I can't think of a good song off the top of my head, so until I can think of a actual good lyrics, I would be humming a courageous tune, and be singing or like poetically speaking of the effigies of being awesome and not having demons in you.
All right. Oh, but before all of this happened, Tacitus, you had another experience.
Wait, did I?
Yeah.
So many experiences.
I might need a reminder.
You guys have that mask that you found in Colmar's room?
I do have the mask, yeah.
And you did something with the mask.
Did you put it on? I wanted to put it on a cat.
I did not put it on.
No.
I don't think. I'm pretty sure.
I remember you attached it to your belt. That's all I remember. You're going to use it as a weapon.
Tony, do you need me to resend it to you?
Yeah. I got a lot of emails. It's difficult to find it.
I'm not going to lie. This is the third time I'm sending it to you. And I've asked you every time, what did you think? What did you think? What did you think?
Well, it sounds like your question is going to be answered shortly.
Sent.
Oh, here it is.
Remember seeing it? Or is this the first time?
Yeah, I thought I forwarded this to people, but maybe I didn't. Yeah, so I Legend Lord the mask. Let's see here. Yeah, it was. I got like a weird thing in a language I don't normally know, but I could understand it in this particular case. Kyber speech. Not sure what that is.
Oh, that's my jam.
I don't know. I guess, did I cast this in front of people? Yeah, I didn't. Probably not. If we're not talking.
No, I don't imagine that you would have, but they would have heard your screams after.
Sure.
And then they would have probably came running.
So let's see here. Let's see what it says. Hidden in plain sight, only change is consistent. Is it boon or blight? This old vagabond's present. Sorry, question mark there. From progenitors' remains, dread monsters were born. Feasting upon human brains, mortals were forlorn. Then feathered saviors, with their lives they had given, cleansing light warriors, casting fiends to perdition. But between light and darkness, where the rambler treads, sown are the seeds of chaos, mischief surely spreads. Some lead to riches or to blessings fantastic, others to ditches, graves, and events so tragic. With this mask is but one fact, you gamble your soul. For contact asserts a pact with dragons below. Okay. So I haven't made contact yet, so I'm good. My soul is not forfeit yet. Jesus.
Did you retell this to the group? Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so. Which actually probably means that you, fucking Petrie, you touched the goddamn thing.
Yeah.
What is this thing?
Yeah, dude.
Do we just generally know of the Cult of the Dragon Below? Like, not specifics, but enough to recognize that reference.
All right. So there's a couple of things that are fairly common general knowledge. Kyber refers to two different things. One, it refers to Eberron's version of the Underdark. So it is a realm where monsters and aberrations roam and often find ways of coming to the surface to claim victims and pull people down, never to be seen again. The other thing that Kyber refers to that is commonly known is the kind of world creation myth that involves 3 dragons, Eberron, Kyber, and Sybaris. And from them, all of creation was formed. And so Eberron, the world above that you all walk on, is the corpse of this progenitor dragon. Kyber is the corpse of that progenitor dragon. And Sybaris is the corpse of that progenitor dragon. And so the way that they manifest is Eberron is the world above, Kyber is the world below, and Sybaris is the ring of dragon shards that is seen twinkling in the sky around a specific belt that forms a ring surrounding the world.
They totally misnamed it. There's totally a Kyber belt in space. Come on now.
So those are the 2 common ways that Kyber is usually done. So in terms of the cult of the dragon below, that's not necessarily something that's common knowledge. That would be very specific to individuals familiar with those circles, because authorities try to stomp that out quickly if they ever come to be aware of them.
So what is the item in question? I don't recall.
It's that mask.
It's the mask that pokes
spikes people in the face.
Yeah, I don't think he was here for that episode. That was the cat sliding down the banister episode.
So Petrie's rooting around Colmar's room and lab and belongings, and rolls well enough where I have to figure out what he finds. And so he found this mask that if anything flesh or living that touches it, it seems to sprout spines that pierce into the flesh, and then any blood that touches the mask then trickles down into the mouth that visibly begins to slurp it up.
Just a standard old mask.
It looks very similar to a cross between the mask from The Mask with Jim Carrey and the face on the Necronomicon from Army of Darkness.
I see you watched season 1 of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
I've seen 2 seasons. I can't wait for the 3rd to come on Netflix. I'm very sad that it got canceled, but nonetheless. So there's that, but then there's also the fact that when Tacitus tried to cast Detect Magic and identify upon it, very strange things started to happen, where not only some of the magic was able to be observed. I believe it was a hint of transmutation, some necromancy, and abjuration. I think that was the combination of some of the magic that leaked out that could be determined. But it's also been hidden and obscured, and the magic is very clearly Colmar's. So Colmar has actually locked it from divination in some way because it requires a kind of passcode in order to be able to view and understand specifically what those spells would be able to provide in terms of information.
Komar was always a little overprotective of his stuff.
Indeed.
Okay.
But I wasn't able to use it because I was trying to use it on a cat, but I wasn't allowed. It did spike me, but it did take some of my blood, but nothing too serious, I think. Hopefully.
That you know of.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're telling us, traitor. No.
Dun dun dun!
True. So cool. And now we've got a new weapon, I guess.
Yeah.
So Tacitus.
Train, so or something.
After you cast that spell, when you started screaming and people came in running, what did they see?
They probably saw my identify, or let's see here on the spell. Let's check it out. What's involved normally? Legend lore. A bunch. So my room is probably pretty smoky with incense. And some laid out strips of ivory in a very strategically placed within a ritual circle. With my armor sort of propped up in front of me, you know, all of the arcane writing on the inside. You know, you could see it glowing from, you know, me reading from it. And then there was the screaming. So I guess I'm probably like falling back, like breathing heavy. And then whenever I see Petrie, people are like, "Man, you're so fucked."
And I run in drawing my weapon and I go, "Where's my daughter?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I'll kill you."
What?
Trying to be like me.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Anybody who enters Tacitus's room, give me a perception check.
I guess anybody who has a sense of arcane magic, they might feel that a fairly decently leveled spell has the residual effect is kind of dissipating, but
I got 18.
I got 17.
Oh no.
Elmorn, are you running in?
No, I wouldn't give a shit.
The one guy who said he would go with you. Yeah.
All right, so Petrie and Ivar, you both see that there are, when you look at Tacitus, I mean, he's clearly disheveled. He looks like he's been crying. His eyes are red. But you also notice that there are spots on his cloak. That you're wearing a cloak right now, right? Like robes or something.
Armor, yeah, underclothing sort of thing.
Yeah. So there are patches that seem to have frosted over, while other patches seem to be steaming.
Ivar sniffs the incense and says, "That must be some good shit. Do you have any extra?"
Am I conscious? I don't know. If I'm conscious, I'll just say, "Have at it."
Yeah, you're on the very edge of consciousness at the moment when this is happening. Yeah, the fact that you didn't die upon casting that spell says a lot about your level of toughness and your will. So, yay.
Are they in there for a long time?
Huh?
I saw them go in, right?
Yeah, I imagine so.
I would have
been in there for an unreasonably long amount of time.
A couple minutes, maybe.
Would I think it's unreasonable?
I don't know. Would you be curious?
What do you consider
Seen
unreasonable?
the boy go in. I haven't seen him come out.
There are also cats around the door.
Oh, then I definitely stay away.
Yeah. There's just like laying in like a pyramid.
Nope. Never mind. Not worth it. I hate cats.
So, did you put the mask on? What did you do?
Yeah, you see a ritual circle kind of in the room with the mask in the center.
So, is it fixed? Do you know what it says? What does it mean?
I don't know. Hold on. I'm still almost dead. Give me a second. Let's see. I'll just I'll send that to everybody. That way you have the rhyme. I did not imagine that spell having that sort of effect on me. That was absolutely unexpected.
So
no, the mask is not fixed. Well, you could probably touch it. It's probably already got you.
Oh.
I still don't advise it, but yeah.
What about the cats? Can the cats try it on?
No.
No.
Still trying that.
I'd hate to see what happens to a cat with it.
Okay.
Still adjust my gloves and gingerly grab the mask and put it away.
You might need that.
We'll see.
Okay.
It's here. Let's not let anybody else know that it's here. Who the hell was your friend and why does he have it?
He's I'm not in there, so I can't answer that question.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Yeah, Martha wouldn't have gone in somebody else's room. He's totally happy with his own room.
He's busy.
He only visits 2 rooms, his and Charles.
So yeah, PG just shrugs and just walks out and like sort of tries to push the cats out of the way as he goes through the door.
Yeah. At my next earliest convenience, I will have shared that poem thing. Little rhyme riddle to folks.
Okay. And you have the keen mind feat, right?
Yeah,
so
I'll probably write it down.
You would have it memorized like very clearly.
Yeah.
Word for word in the deep speech language, even though you don't know it.
Yeah. I'll translate it. Yeah. So that was before what's happening now. I got a lot of shit happening here, apparently.
So is this something new, or is this something related to the mask? Bum bum bum.
I didn't touch it.
All right. Is there anything else that anybody's doing prior to getting to the Mournland?
I'm trying to get out of my head.
Nope. Nah.
All right. So, you guys finally get to the town of Vatharond. You can see in the distance, not far from the town, the mists, the wall of mist that lines the border of the Mournland. But in Vatharond, it seems to be a rather quaint town. It's small and compact, but there's a number of people going to and fro. A lot of the commerce for this town actually seems to be centered around adventurers trying to test their means or otherwise preparing to go into the Mournland. So there's a number of shops that provide various essentials, weapon shops, supply shops. There's a couple of inns that seem to be made with large stables to accommodate horses and other animals of burden that may accompany travelers into the Mournland. So, and as you move through the town, you see that everybody seems to have their own story about the Mournland. Some have never gone in, but they claim to have seen creatures emerging from the mists, and there's a dime a dozen of stories of creatures coming in and dragging people into the mists, never to be seen again. There's other individuals that claim to have made several trips into the Mournland, and they have a lot of war stories in terms of losing comrades, having escaped just by the barest of luck in order to get back. But, the potential for fortune is just too great to pass up for some of these individuals. And some of them are they either may have a death wish or they may have some kind of addiction to the thrill. It's hard to understand or know which is which. But there's plenty of individuals like that. And then there's also, you see the occasional person that is quite green, that probably has no business going into the Mournland, but are nonetheless enamored by the possibility or driven by the desperation they might have to...
Especially if they're green, then you see a doctor.
Yes.
How many of them are deformed? That's what Ivar wants to know.
So, especially the ones that claim to have made several trips into the Mournland, they are very much scarred. Although they're willing to tell you their age and everything, but they seem to have aged much more rapidly than you would have expected. many people who claim to be in their 30s looking well into their 50s or beyond. Limbs that have seemed to have withered, or areas of skin that have blackened, and others seem to have multiple scars where perhaps strips of flesh had come away, whether from injury or from disease, that then had to be healed over and treated by a physician, that leave very disturbing scars with very thin tissue over the muscle and scar tissue. So you see a lot of that.
So what's the kind of? I mean, Martha just seems like this. It just seems like this would be a very repulsive place to make a living. Mm-hmm. Like, Martha would look upon the people that live here with some sort of disdain, just for living near the Mournland. Do they seem to be like normal people? Do they seem like they're all just kind of really weird? I mean, I know that they're deformed.
Are they desperate?
Well, yeah. Okay, so there's a difference. There's the townies. The townies are very much seem to be healthy. They know enough to stay away from the Mournland. They don't go near it. They don't touch it. They don't even consider it. But they have two things that are kind of going for them. They understand that this is a town that is on the border, and so it provides a rare opportunity for services for those that would want to go into the Mournland. They were, in all likelihood, they were born there. They don't have the money to travel much farther than this town necessarily, or the opportunities, and so they try to make the best of it. And then the other aspect of the town is those who are much like yourself, passing through in order to go in.
Since they're a town that's situated on the edge, they know that they're gonna have a lot of adventurers coming through or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Unique opportunity to service people going into the Mournlands. That's what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would they have a supply of good berry wine?
Or something that they're willing to say is good berry wine because they know you're not coming back out. So,
yeah, the town doesn't have the funds to really provide for any good berry wine. Most of the travelers that they see are already in some way largely prepared. And so they make sure that they have general goods that people may forget along the way, or last second needs that people might think, oh, this might be a good thing. But they don't really have, this isn't a town that's big enough to have any kind of commerce agreement or shipments of good berry wine.
Do they have a bar or a pub?
Yeah.
Okay, I go there, and I ask if they've seen my daughter.
Who do you ask? Or how do you ask?
I ask with my heart of darkness. Commoners will extend every courtesy and do their utmost to help me. They know I've seen some shit.
He looks like he's seen shit.
Describe how you enter into the pub.
I imagine like saloon doors. I just go. I just kind of stride forward over to the bar, and I just look at the bartender, just like with like darkness eyes. I'm like, have you seen the Angel of the Mists?
The Angel of the Mists.
Do I have like a sketch, a composite sketch of this sketch?
You absolutely do.
All right. Whoosh.
Ah, that Angel. Yeah, I've seen her once or twice, accompanying those that are leaving the mists. She seems more bright light than any kind of corporeal form, but I think that was the look of her. Similar anyways, from what you have on the drawing.
When's the last time you saw her?
Oh, it's been quite some time. I would say that it was probably when I was a wee lad, before I became tender of this bar.
Wee lad? How long ago this shit happened? How old are you?
Don't confuse me. That was only what I have seen. Others claim to have seen her. Of course. Her visage in this Angel of the Mists is quite common topic of conversation. Either people praying to her in order to guide them truly through the mist and get them back, or praying for those that they have lost in the depths of the Mournland. Excuse me.
You heard me, goddammit. Who's the last person you know to have seen her?
Well, I cannot tell you, but hey, lads, has anybody seen the Angel of the Mists? And there are a couple of hands that go up, kind of weakly.
Look reliable.
Give me an investigation check.
14. Don't even look not drunk.
Reliable.
Don't even look not drunk.
No.
Who looks the least drunk, the most sober?
Probably a guy sitting not too far away at the bar from you.
A guy with some story dice?
Do you want me to roll story dice?
Sure, why not?
I don't know what I'm rolling for, but I'll be inspired nonetheless.
Can I tell a quick story dice story?
Absolutely.
So I told you Egg is in the game that I run, and one of my characters has Egg, or one of my players has Egg, and I rolled the story dice. I swear to God, I got a man falling, and then like the crime scene, like dead body outline.
Oh no!
And I was like, Egg falls off your shoulder and dies. And she was like, no. It was like the perfect fucking dice. It was so weird. I think she was climbing up a wall too, and when I rolled it, and so I was like, oh,
holy shit!
Yeah,
that's what I rolled.
No way.
Bye, Egg.
My first thought would have been Egg murdered somebody.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like, Egg has a mean streak.
Like, he's just sitting right there by the corner and happens to put his little foot out, trip someone.
He's climbing up a wall.
Into a dagger that happens to be planted in the ground.
That might not be exactly what the dice were, but they were like perfect to the point where it seemed like the game, like the gods were telling me kill Egg, and I was like, this is so weird.
I mean, it could have been Egg killed somebody. I mean, you know, it's like that movie, The Bad Seed, but in this case, it'd be The Bad Egg.
Or she's climbing up a wall, Egg climbs up her shoulder and hops up there first, and then just starts pushing her fingers up the ledge.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract from the game.
No worries. So the person that you see next to you, he is very hairy and disheveled, with bloodshot red eyes that seem to be dry from crying. And he looks over and he says, "Yeah, I seen the angel. What do you want to know about her?"
Where did you see her last?
Dragging me out of the mists, saving my ass. She couldn't save my wife, though. It had already gotten her.
Elmorn feels a mix of pity and disgust. But he decides to go with pity. So he lays a hand on the man's shoulder and says, "Sorry, friend.
I don't need your... I don't need any of that, none. I don't want your pity. We had made our choice, we'd made our bed, and we had to lay in it. I just wish I would have went with her. Started screaming. And then that angel came, all bright light. You could barely see her. It's hard to look at. And next thing I know, dragging my ass, like dragging me. I'm not a light man. She didn't look all that strong. A little wispy little thing. Once you get past the light, she was strong as an ox, just dragging me. Eventually, get through the mist. She kissed me on the forehead. Apologized for not being able to save my wife. And then she just disappeared.
And where were you?"
About a mile north of here. My legs have been broken. Had to crawl back to town. And you see at that point, you notice that his legs are in braces that are clear to have been, he's not recovered from his injury, but the braces help him to be able to walk and move around.
"Thanks for sharing, friend."
He goes back and buries his face in his drink.
So if I were to mute or to concentrate on the doll right now, where do I get the sense of where this creature is, this angel lady?
You just get a general sense to the east right now. Yeah, east right now.
Okay.
Like, it kind of maybe a slightly northeast-ish or something, but with you being so close to the Mournland, it's hard to tell.
Well, I mean, at least it's not like very far north or very far south, so our ranging shouldn't be too bad.
Ivar would be using the time to find all the people who look like they've been scarred, so who look like they've gone through something, and just trying to, in his head, analyze their stories to get a sense of what it was that was attacking them and if there's anything more effective than not. Basically, just sort of investigating for all the gossip and trying to figure out if there's anything useful in the various tales these people are telling. And also trying to stay alert for the fact that some of them may be charlatans. Because I myself am going to tell Martha how to save the Goodberry wine bottles because we can fill them with any wine and make a killing.
If this were Fallout, you'd be getting some evil points. So the general gist of stories that you hear of the survivors, who are clearly survivors, they all ran. They fought something, or something jumped out at them, ambushed them. And the ones that stood their ground tended to die.
So were they
the ones that have survived are the ones that ran.
So did they get a sense of what it was that was attacking them? Was it invisible or couldn't they see?
No. It's something different for each case. You hear one story from a person of seems like what they're describing is basically a living tornado of swords. And he's just basically like, how do you fight a tornado of swords?
Note to self, I am going to write the play Swordnado now.
Another one talks about an ooze that seeped up from the ground and chased after them, spewing explosive goop at them. Other people talk about these ghosts that seem to call out and draw people towards them with their beautiful songs, only to wither their companions with their touch. So it's no story has any kind of similarity. The only similarity is that the survivors that are talking about it, that have lived to tell about it, were the ones that ran away.
And I would have asked, have any of them encountered Warforged while they were in there?
Out of all of them, one person is like, yeah, now that I think about it, there were a couple Warforged out there. They seem to be doing their own thing, though. They didn't pay us no mind. We kind of didn't really want to be worrying about them. They didn't seem to be wanting to worry about us. They kind of were focused on their own thing. But yeah, I'd say that we saw probably about 3 or 4 of them seem to be digging at something.
See, that makes me wonder why they weren't being attacked and killed by whatever's out there.
That's a good question, little guy. I'm not sure. Maybe they have been being attacked, but they just figured out how to get away from it. I don't know. I can't rightly imagine anybody being able to survive in that kind of environment. I mean, we were only out there for, what, a week? And then we lost half of our people just in that time. Then we lost another quarter of them trying to get out.
Yeah, I'm sure all those Warforged you saw either ran off or got destroyed.
If Martha's around, he would ask, how deep do the mists go before you're clear of them?
So Are you asking that to multiple people or just this guy?
I'd be just this guy.
All right. Well, if I recall right, we were probably walking through that. Maybe like a day, half a day. It's hard to remember because it's weird out there. The sky is covered too, and so it's always the same kind of light. You don't see the difference between light and dark. You don't. Night, day, they lose all meaning out there. So it's hard to keep track of time. And then it feels like going through the mist. It's hard to know which way you're going. We lost a couple of people just walking through until we decided that we needed to tie everybody to a rope. That kind of helped a little bit. Keep everybody together. But those mists, man, you can get turned around real easy. Can't really see well through them. You can see barely a foot in front of you.
But to his question, did you find that there was an end to them? Is there a clear area within the zone?
Oh yeah, once you can get past them, then you can get past them, and it looks like just the same as it does on this side. That it's just a wall of mist, just going on in each direction, as far as the eye can see.
So what you're saying is that once you get past them, you're just in another country, right?
I guess if you want to be cute about it and have some humor, but there's nothing humorous about this. Those mists, they're a defined border. Once you get through them, it's like a wall, and not just a wall. When you get into it, it's a ceiling. Those
So it's
mists,
like
they block out everything.
So it's like a dome of mist over the moorlands.
Yep. Here's the thing that's been really weird. If you really pay attention and you keep track of it, the border seems to move. It's never in the same spot. Sometimes it seems to almost be like it's trying to spread out.
Would it undulate by any chance?
I'm not sure about this word undulate, but I know it quivers.
Does it jerk? Because we have an expert here in our party.
I can't rightly say it jerked, but
but I ain't saying it ain't.
But yeah, the mists, they're not static. They seem like it, but they're not. Sometimes it seems like it's getting even closer to this town.
Has anybody ever just put up markers to see if it's actually getting closer?
Not here, but I've heard about people doing it in other places that are close to the mists. And I don't know what they found, but I heard they try it.
It might be important to the tourist trade to know whether or not your town is going to eventually be inside the mists.
That's actually not a bad idea. Though it's not my town. You can tell the mayor if you want. That might be a good thing for them to put on the project.
We'll get right on it.
Yeah, I'll run it by my employers and see if they care.
I don't. I mean,
I will definitely pen a letter. I don't know. Are we staying in this town or are we just leaving? What is the plan exactly here?
Well, how long have we been traveling today?
You probably got to town around midday.
Okay. Well, I think we should. I think we should stay for the night since it's already midday. Just start earlier in the morning.
Give us a full day's travel in there is probably best. Instead of having to stop partway through there. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Exactly.
Is there like a newspaper in this town or anything similar?
You can probably scrounge up older copies of the what's it called? The Cornberg Chronicle, which is kind of like the national newspaper.
I will get a sheet of paper. I have a whole forger's kit, so I will take a sheet of paper and pen out a note to the mayor and just figure out where she lives and like slip it under the door, advising that she may want to put up markers at the edge of the mist just to see if they're getting closer to the town.
So what are you going to use a forging to fool her on?
Oh, it's not. It's just there's paper in the forger's kit and ink. I have a little bit of everything.
What the fuck did you just show us, Tony? What is
Poppy.
this?
That's Poppy.
Poppy.
No. I don't like it.
Just you gotta watch that one to the very end.
Wow. Okay.
Did you see what I mean?
Yeah. That's the exact atmosphere of the Mournland.
Yeah. Am I okay?
Can I restart? All right, so you write that note and you leave it at their door or slip it under the door or something.
And I will sign it Ivar Thambosco Far Santiar, the Roman gnome.
Excellent.
What in the world is Roman? No.
All right, what about what everyone else is doing?
I think Petrie's just psyching himself up because he's still considering running every second.
For once, Petrie, that's the sane response. Like literally the only time you've had a sane response.
Oh wow. I mean, no.
Martha was just very irritable. He's just kind of like distant. And then, yeah, he's not thrilled, but he's just kind of being withdrawn.
Elmore maintains that he told you not to come.
Don't tell me that. I know that. That's why I'm here.
You can't tell me what to do.
I make my own mistakes. Sorry, Elmore. It's been a rough day.
So do we want to go back to the handsome mansion to rest, or do we want to wait for Elmore to like pay for rooms?
I forgot.
Well,
can we vamp back?
If you do vamp back,
We'll lose the portal.
You lose the portal at Mordaine's, at the edge of Mordaine's realm.
Oh man,
we have to go all the way back to figure out where it is, and may have to to encounter Zorchilic again.
But we're going to be getting first-hand knowledge of the angel-faced creature here. And it sounds like we don't want to, injure it because it's Delmore's daughter.
This is a different angel-faced creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine your daughter kissing strangers, Elmore.
So one thing that I want to let you guys know about, because Petrie and Martha already are aware, and Anno knows because he was there, but not Elmore. But for Tacitus and Ivar, the angel-faced creature is called that because he has the face of an angel, like completely beautiful, breathtaking, like superhumanly good looks. But from the neck down, this creature is covered in chitinous armor with joints that seem to have tendrils of wet sinew moving in unnatural ways, and other appendages that seem to hang unnaturally and move in ways that shouldn't be possible for any creature of this realm. So that's the reason that it's called the angel-faced creature, because that's the only thing about it that is angelic.
So it's like Little John from the Merry Men because he had a tiny dick.
What?
Sure.
So then we're getting rubes here in town. Then is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is this saloon also the inn?
No, that one is down the street. They know better to allow their regulars to get drunk and become belligerent without having some kind of spacer.
Let's just go set up and hang out here for the rest of the day. Head out in the morning, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
When walking outside, how far away from this town is the mist? Like, we can see it, but how far does it appear to be?
I think a mile, maybe two. It's fairly close.
Okay. Does it appear like the ground or like what we can see up to the mist does it look spoiled at all, or any kind of indication of decay, or just kind of is?
Well, a lot of the ground around this town is just, it's grassy, but it's not really grassy. It's more like hard-packed dirt with sparse kind of grasses. There's not really a whole lot of trees around. So in terms of sparseness, nothing that you can specifically pick out. But you have heard tales that within a certain degree of closeness to the mists, things do tend to wither a bit. And there is some kind of signs of spoilage or otherwise some kind of corrupting force.
Okay.
So Tacitus, you always know which direction is true north. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Good to know. We may want to. I forgot that I used my rope when we were trying to get out of Drome, or trying to escape the city we were in Drome. But we should probably take the advice of one guy I talked to and lash ourselves together in case we all get blinded and try to separate. I, for one, want to stay close to the one guy who knows true north.
I mean, sure, then that's one option. It'll be rather unfortunate if we have to flee very suddenly, and everybody's instincts kicks in and try and run in different directions.
Well, we don't necessarily have to tie ourselves together. We could just hold a common rope.
Sure. Let's go with that route. Unless somebody happens to know like an easy release knot or something.
Certainly not Martha.
Elmorn is an expert at making tents, so
I'm proficient in survival. Would I know how to make an easy release knot?
Yeah. No check required. You could do it.
There you go.
That way, if we get into combat, we can deal with it.
Okay. You guys want me to tie it?
Absolutely.
You want me to tie it? Tie it right now.
I turn to Petrie and I say, "Boy, watch closely. This is how you tie an easy knot. Pay attention to my fingers, boy."
and Petrie's just nodding and looking.
Now you do your knot, boy. No, not like that, boy. No.
Oh, okay.
Your fingers are so light and nimble, and mine are so sausage-like. All right, so you guys make the rope with the quick release knots.
So we're standing at the edge of the mist right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're a couple. We're like a mile or two away.
Do you guys want to start heading into the mists yet? We can fast.
Can we get
time it?
Can we fast forward up to the very edge of the mist?
All right, so you guys spend the night resting, preparing. At first light, you guys make your preparations, and then you walk towards the mist.
Can we?
The wall.
Wait, can we take like a 5-minute break before we get to the mist?
Sure.
Okay.
That's actually a good time for me to get some more alcohol.
Yes.
I need to check on the status of food.
Oh man, what do you got going on this Saturday?
Nothing. This is pretty much it. I have to go out to a friend's place. Going to help them get a slow cooker or something. I don't know.
Like a outdoor. What do you call it? It's like one of those things. You cook in a garage, like a pressure cooker.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, essentially that.
Very nice. Hopefully they won't blow anything up.
Hopefully not. About you, what do you guys got planned for the weekend?
I got a party tomorrow night, and then Sunday is just hanging out. It's like gonna be 100 degrees here, so trying to avoid going outside as much as possible.
Yeah, it's hot as balls right now.
I'm gonna check. Oh, 37. Shit. Yeah, that's pretty hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So this weekend's gonna be like, it's like hot and humid. So this weekend's just gonna be probably indoors.
I just want to drink and play games.
It's so cold here. Unlucky.
What's the temperature?
Hang on, let me try. I'll convert it.
That's kind of you.
59 for you.
That's very nice.
That is a nice temperature.
Yeah. And it's like, it's sunny outside as well, so if you sat out there long enough, you get warm. It's just the wind is making it warm.
Uh-oh, your internet.
Yeah, I know, right? It's blowing around my room.
Does anybody else have that $3 wine from Aldi?
We've got that in Australia.
What, Aldi?
Yeah, from Aldi.
Yeah, I'm sure. Everybody has Aldi at this point.
Yeah, we've got a $3 wine. Yeah. We call it Passion Pop. Is that what it is?
No, this is like, it's called Wiesel or some shit like that. It sucks, but it gets you drunk. I mean, actually, it was like $2.58 for a bottle.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the one substandard bottle of Goodberry wine we got.
Yep. So, those of you guys who are back, what do you think about the game so far? Tonight's session.
It's interesting. I mean, I was expecting to be upset about all the horrible things that have happened at this stage. So it's like we're slow walking because we don't really want to go in.
Yeah, I think so. So there's just like a lot of exhibition of the area, I guess. And yeah, the characters are really cool. I wish we would see them again because they seem like they're cool voices and they seem pretty genuine, which is pretty cool.
Oh, cool. I didn't even think about these characters. I made them up on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, because I didn't think you guys were going to stop in town very long. I thought you guys were going to go right into the mists.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I guess we're just stepping around it.
I would say I am actually surprised that there aren't charlatans taking advantage of the stupid adventurers.
Trying to sell like baubles or something.
That's a whole personal background in this game. Yeah, I mean, not even baubles. Like the Goodberry wine thing is just obvious. You know, fake healing potions. I mean, first of all, you can do this. Presumably, you can do this in a couple of places around the Mournlands. Adventurers wander around all the time, so even if they come back out, you'll probably be in some new town, and there's a good chance they're not coming back at all. So you could sell them fake healing potions, and they're going to hunt you down because they lost 50 gold and almost died. They always almost die. That's like their job description.
That is true.
Give me, we'll go history. Give me a history check.
I'm proficient in history. 26.
That's perfect.
All right, a history lesson. Yay!
So Ivar, your observations are pretty correct. From what you understand through the ways that you understand them, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of the towns that are around the Mournland do have such charlatan type behavior, and there's a lot of snake oil salesmen trying to make a profit off of the potential demise of these adventurers and people's gullibility and things like that. But both from what you know and what you've gathered in this town has been particularly affected by the impact of the Day of Mourning. This town is so close to the Mournland that it actually was kind of almost a part of Sire. And so there's a lot of people here that remember their lost loved ones that were just happened to be a mile away and caught in the explosion and unable to flee. And so for that reason, a lot of that behavior, the snake oil salesman and the fraudulent things is very, very quickly policed within the town. And it's well understood within those that live here that this really is trying to be a safe port in a storm, to make sure that those adventurers that do decide to go in have the best possible chance, because some of them are not just adventurers. Some of them are actually people that live here and are looking for their families or looking for evidence of some kind of memento or something that is important to them.
That makes sense. I still would expect charlatans to be trying to make up stories to bum drinks.
That you probably would see, yeah. But that also makes it kind of sense too, because then if Elmore's daughter Grace, or if not Grace, this Angel of the Mists, as she's being commonly called.
The one that, by the way, I wouldn't actually say this to Elmorn, but secretly, Ivar thinks that that Adalkir probably ate his daughter and now wears her face. That's really what Ivar expects that we're going to find.
I'm writing that down. But yeah, the fact that the angel is so frequently sighted around the town may actually be evidence of the kind of resonance with the type of people that are here. And so many of the people that the Angel of the Mist guides out of the mist end up here because this is one of the legitimate places that people can find some kind of safe harbor.
that your $2.50 wine?
Yeah. All right. So you guys are going to the mist?
Yep.
Going in.
The wall of roiling mist rises ahead of you, appearing solid and ephemeral.
Wait. We're not going in yet, are we?
Yeah, that's true. Elmorn has a whole plan, so
yeah, hold on. Though the
one's gonna.
It's still the roiling mist.
Yeah.
Still is ahead of you,
Though the
appearing
mists are
solid
still
and
ahead of me. Yes.
ephemeral at the same time.
Yes. All right. I look left ways and right ways, all along the wall of mist. Brace! Is there
you get out here this minute.
Roll a check to yell.
Okay.
Roll for yelling.
I rolled an 11.
You hear the echo of your own voice kind of bouncing off of the horizon. After a moment, you see there's no response.
Okay. I look to the group and I say, let me just try one more thing, guys. And I pull out my lute and I start strumming the song. It's Wonderwall. And after all, you're my Wonderwall.